Hoping that the least, that'll take you 5 years.
Whenever you're ready, sir.
All right, I'll call the select board. to Order,
And I will do likewise with the budget committee.
simply join me to pledge allegiance to our great flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before everybody sits down, I gotta get back.
Good evening, folks, and welcome
I'm good, I don't need
firefighters.
that
Glad to
much.
see you here. We'll get started. I want to turn the gavel over to Val for a minute.
Okay, this is a non-agenda item, but I feel like I need to address this. As a budget committee member and especially as the chair, I really appreciate the a meeting tone that is inclusive and respectful and productive and welcomes questions and gets our job done. And it was noted at the last meeting that I was having a side conversation while the meeting was in progress. And so I looked at the video and sure enough, at the beginning of the meeting, I was continuing a conversation while John was starting the meeting. And that is rude and disrespectful, and I don't wish as a member, let alone the chair, to set an example of that at the meeting. So I apologize, John, and to anyone else who it disturbed. It may not have been really obnoxious here, but on the video, I was sitting right over there, right in front of the video. So it did come across on the video pretty badly. And so I will endeavor not to do that again. And while I'm at it, I would like to say again that I really appreciate the administration, Julie's work, Peg and Pam on this, all the department heads. I've said it many times before, they worked very hard putting this together. And after the last meeting's discussion on capital budget, I was feeling pretty guilty about, well, actually, for the last couple of years, I've been feeling guilty about not going in to visit Julie in the office and look at the big sheet that's based on. And so yesterday I did it. And Julie and I have had a pretty good relationship. And she informed me that the way I was asking questions during that time period was not well received. And I guess other people felt the same way. So that was not my intent. I don't want people to feel under the gun. I wasn't trying to do any gotcha thing. I don't think that's playing fair, and I don't want other people to do it, and I wouldn't want it to be done with me. So if that's the tone that came across, I'm sorry. I don't want to be that way. And again, as the chair of the budget committee, I don't want to set that precedent for the meeting. I really value the kitchen table discussion atmosphere that we have here and have had for the last, since before you were here.
At
You
least
really,
17 years, because this is Paul's 17th presentation and he was on the budget committee with you prior to that.
Oh my God.
well, it has not always been rancorous.
I
He said it
agree.
wasn't the kitchen table, it was before it was.
Right, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, the staff and I had very strong feelings after the last meeting, and we should never walk away from a budget committee feeling the way that the staff and I did.
And I
it had to
appreciate-
be said,
Yes.
so I said it.
I appreciate it very much that she let me know, because I frankly was not aware of it. And so thank you,
No,
and
thank
I
you.
apologize again.
You were very good about it. I appreciate it.
Well, I
And
don't
my
want to be
staff
that way,
appreciate it.
and I don't want the meetings to be that way. I think what we do here in Waldeboro is pretty rare in government these days. And I think it's super valuable that we can work together, have discussions, disagree, whatever. And I think it's fair and reasonable, and it's our job to ask questions about where numbers come from. But the way I was doing it, was
I
not,
think if you ask a
magnificent.
question, that's great. I think if you repeatedly ask the same question over and over, it conveys that you're not believing what's being told to you. And I think we've all been very sensitive to that, and I can say to Jan, Abden, Peg and I, and you, who are probably here during some of those first rough meetings, back in 2017, that's what we're trying to avoid, because we do try very hard to answer every question that we're presented with. But we also can't just do something that one budget committee member wants us to do. It should be a consensus. So I think that to avoid us chasing our tails and wasting our times, all of you, if somebody wants something and they want it done a different way, all of you have to agree to it, because it's not fair to me or the staff for us to cater to just one person. It needs to be catering to the group, and I think everybody would agree with that. That it puts everybody in a bad position, and everybody needs to have the same information. And, I appreciated your point of view when you explained what your thoughts were. So again, and I think everybody has to, one thing that might help is if the chairs acknowledge the next person who talks, that might keep some of the crosstalk down, so that's where we're at.
yeah, and I hope things go better. And let's talk about what, the fire department?
Not quite yet.
Not quite yet, okay.
I appreciate your passion, but you've got a lot of knowledge there for us.
Well, I hope I'm useful.
First on the agenda, before we jump into fire, is our assessment's going to talk to us a little bit about our solar revenue. If you all recall, we were talking revenue, we had some discussion on the revenue that we're going to get from the solar.
Good evening. I am Darrell McKenney, the assessor's agent, and here to correct a mistake I made on estimating the solar exemption reimbursement. We received a check in December for $128,985, and a third solar field will be online April 1st out on the Banktown Road. So I said 100,000 should be easily taken out of that. Well, that was in total error. The state reimburses a year later, so that one will not kick in until 2027. And they're basing everything on the taxes that you're paying now for fiscal year 2026. So re-looking at that, we doubled all land values. So the mill rate went from 1690 down to 1480. The solar farm, the second one that's out on Controversy Lane, when they initially reported, they reported 30 million. Then I said, oops, we have too many projects going at the same time. It's really 15 million. And then last year, they came out with a bulletin saying it's just the system in the field. You're not supposed to include credits. You're not supposed to include connecting to CMP. Well, they had a lot of expense collecting to CMP. So bottom line, their assessment went from 10 million down to 6 in that year. Our mill rate went down. So the actual reimbursement that we're projected to get is like 83,000. So 80,000 is what is a recommended reduction for solar instead of the 100. And gladly answer anything on solar if you have further questions on that.
Which line item is it in the budget?
Right, but what page?
Yeah, hold on a second. I wanted to explain this yellow summary that you kind of, as a part of your handouts, includes the reduction that he's talking about. Under other state assistance, but I'll get you the. And it's page 62. Oh, yeah, thank you. 62. Thank you. Normally I give you the summary after what you voted on, but I think we knew this was gonna be yesterday when we knew this was gonna happen. But we had- So the original reason we were having Daryl here was because I thought some of you might have questions about the actual solar tax itself.
Yeah, I'm not clear on page 62, how it's 80,000 and not 100.
That is correct.
Okay.
For-
That's
for
line
2027.
3328,
Yes.
80,000.
That would reduce your total revenue figure to $5,551,405.
I'm sorry, Peg, could you repeat that one more time?
Sure, the total revenue changed to $5,551,405.
Thank you.
Sure.
Just to clarify, that's for, just so people know, that's for any solar on personal residence as well as commercial.
This, it started in 2020. We had 35 applications personal on houses. And got 3,000 back, and then it's been climbing and climbing. Last year, there was 72 applications. They do give us $5 in applications. We're up to $360 for that. And then they reimburse half of the value. And I thought they took our mill rate. They do not. They add the 11 million that we had in solar into our valuation and calculating new tax rates. We don't get it at the 1480, we get it at a lower rate. So the lowest would be 82,370.41, but it's, I cannot figure out how they calculate an actual rate. After everything gets done, after all the assessments are done, we come back to the table to the board and they have to establish a tax rate. And there's what is known as an overlay that gives you up to a 5%. So that's where you got to figure things in. But
Other question for Daryl?
in the office Monday through Wednesday, if you have any questions on anything as you go through this, please come in and we can give you, I'll give you a hard copy of what I got.
Thank you, Daryl.
Okay, thank you.
Well. We took 20, man.
Yeah. It was better when I gave you 100.
Yeah.
130.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, now we will jump into the fire department. Chief?
Good evening, everyone.
That is page 20.
First thing I'd like to say is, I want to thank our members of our fire department. We have currently 29 members on our roster. They're some of the most dedicated people that you'll ever meet. I just can't say enough good about them, and it's an honor to be chief. with them and work with them. So I want to start off by saying that. And the other thing I'd like to say is I would like to thank our other public safety employees. I've been here a long time and I don't think we've ever had the sincere as positive a relationship between all these departments as we do right now. The three chiefs, we get along great. The police officers come in, they joke around with our guys, EMS people, we eat dinner together. I had lunch with them all today. It's been a long time since, and it's just great. So I just want everybody to know that, and I want to thank them as well. So my budget went up 17,000, a little over 4%. Our pay rate, the way I figure our pay rate is I keep it even with what basic EMTs are getting. I figured that that was a good baseline for us. So to keep up with them, that would give us 72 cents an hour pay raise for the firefighters. They come in. Our other items that I wanted for equipment, just rolled into our equipment line. Most of the increases all come from increases in the professional services, what it costs for us to have our hose tested, our pumps tested, our ladders tested, and the overall maintenance costs. That's where most of our increases were in those items. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions for the fire chief?
Thank you for being here and thank you all for being here and all the work that you do. A question for you under line 8515. For year to date, this is health services. This is for your annual physical and screenings, and it's 2,300. The budget was 17. I'm guessing that means that there's a lot of screenings that are going to be taking place between now and the end of the fiscal
We
year.
just had them a week ago.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And those are the cancer screenings.
Those are the
that
cancer
you
and
approved
cardiac.
last year.
Thank you.
And we had enough spaces left over that we were able to offer them to Chief Booker and some of his crew that are also firefighters. May not be firefighters for us, but they are EMS employees with us. And so some of them were able to get screened as well. So I was really pleased that that was able to happen.
I got a question for you, chief.
Yes, sir.
What do we got for, you said you have 29 members right now, that includes the officers?
Yes.
The total of 29 for yourself. What do you have for officers on the staff now?
Right now, we have myself and Dale are the chiefs. I have Andrew Sanderson is our captain, and we have Bill Bragg, Derek Reed, and Daniel Jones are our lieutenants. And we are looking to do another line of promotions in June. Last month's training, we did a survey within the department, an anonymous survey. And so I'll be working through those and we'll move forward from it. But I'm hoping that Julie and I will have an assistant chief ready to go in July. Unfortunately, my deputy has made it clear that he's getting close to the end of his career with us. So we're just planning for that. We're getting ready to move folks up, and
you plan on filling 2 more captains?
I plan on filling all the vacant spots.
How do you base your overall, I probably should know this. Probably know how you do this, I don't. Your compensation dollar figure basis based on hours, what you project, is it based on history? Obviously, you don't know your call volume, you do that on history, I'm assuming.
Right. Right.
And then you know if you're training, you're gonna be paying up for training.
Yeah, we pretty much average out between 300, 350 calls a year. We never know. And we also don't know how long those calls are.
True.
You know, some calls we might be in and out in no time, and then there's other calls that were there well, like our Woods fire on Wagner Bridge, 5 days. You know, so we just don't know. That's why you notice that my year-to-date numbers, as far as my actuals, are pretty high. And that's because I don't do any spending until May, till we start to get close to the end of the year, because we just don't know what our call volume is gonna be. So if there's you know, if we have a big incident or we have many incidents, I may have to cut back on some equipment just to cover the payroll side of it. But it
But-
basically, John, I think the answer to your question is it's basically historic.
If you look back from 24 and 25, 24, you only had 78% of what you had planned. And 25, 83% what you planned, and so far this year, you're at 68, which is just about what we are for the year. So history shows that you're saving, you're budgeting more than you need.
But we just have no idea.
But we don't know. I understand that. I guess it's a good thing for a community that we don't need to spend those hours fighting fires.
Yeah.
And then I was also noting you plan on putting cameras in your trucks this year.
We do that. Chief Booker has them in his ambulances, and several times that's proved out to be a very good thing, and so I'm gonna follow along.
Well, I noticed you put them in your tool and equipment line item, which you didn't increase your line item, but it's still gonna, you cut something, you adjusted something to be able to do that.
Yeah, look, that, we just rolled it into our equipment.
Yep.
Into our
Same with
equipment.
those nozzles.
Yeah.
You didn't ask for an increase this year on that.
Yeah, no,
Cover that.
just offering some explanation of what I'm hoping to do.
Why are volunteer firefighters who are paid part-time employees referred to as volunteer firefighters?
Certainly. The volunteer portion comes in the response. Our folks are not on shift. They've got other jobs, they've got lives, and them showing up is voluntary. And that's where it comes in. They're not required to be here. Them coming is voluntary. Does that answer your question?
It does, and I obviously there's a history to the term because fire departments were composed of actual volunteers
Correct.
at some point, and I do wonder whether that word might not be as useful today in advertising the needs of a fire department, because volunteer connotes a, you know, sort of like something to add on, not as important if you have time. So it just makes me think like maybe like community firefighter or some other word, and a robust communication around that would actually clarify the needs and the importance of that role compared to others.
I will share with you that quite often when I meet with folks that come in to apply, that when I talk about doing payroll every 2 weeks, they're shocked.
Right.
They show up because they had no intention
Exactly.
of receiving anything.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Interesting. Thank you.
Paul, on line 1575, can you explain what the LoSAP program is?
Yes, the LoSAP program is a program that's been started in the state. It's a retirement program for volunteers. The state funds the administration of it. Thank you, Abden. But the state does not fund the program. So we can contribute to it, but the state isn't matching it as of yet, which is the goal for it. You have to be a volunteer to participate in it. The way we do ours is we assign a point system to how many things that people show up to. So if you show up to more calls, you get a larger contribution to your LoSAP program.
Makes sense.
And so that's how we've been managing it. And the program, the formula that we use, that Peg and I use to do that, is from the state. So if they start funding it, they'll use the same formula.
Has any money gone into that at this
Yes,
point?
I think we're in this will be our third year.
Yeah, so in your books, it was accidentally coded to 1570, which is the line above. So we did pay $6,643.25 in 2025.
Okay,
And we didn't budget any in 26?
it's budgeted in
Yeah,
the next
it's at the end of
page.
the year that we end up doing the purchase.
Okay, so it dropped it to 1575 for 26.
You know, it's been 6750 for the last, since the beginning.
What she's saying is on the page above on 20, that it was miscoded into 1570 for retirement, and that 6743.25 should be moved down.
And when does that typically get paid out? Is nothing year to date so far?
The end of the year.
One time.
Okay,
And Dale will start to get those numbers together around the beginning of June. And then I'll do the formula to figure it out. Peg and I'll review it. And by the end of the fiscal year, we make that payment.
so does this number, the actual number is based on the actual calls that people go to, so we don't know
That-
exactly what it is.
That's
but-
the actual number that we came up with. And then we divide that up. So we will use every penny of that.
Yeah.
It'll just be divided up. But the part that we don't know is how much each individual is gonna get. But the whole amount will be used.
Is it that the department has a jar of money that you pass out to everyone or you credit everyone with for the year, or does everyone get a certain amount based on their time?
They do not get a certain amount.
Is it a
We take
percentage?
$6,700 and then each of us, depending on how often we show up. If you show up more, you get more points. And so then that 6,700 is divided up and we figure a value for each point.
There's training points, call points, and
Meeting points.
meeting points, and they all have a different value. So we have to pull all that data together to make the math work.
But it'll use that whole amount,
And how many people split this up?
29.
29. You're not gonna retire on that.
No, we're not, this was a program that's been going on in the state of New York for a very, very long time.
Okay.
And the former fire chief in Jefferson, Wally Morris, he retired up here and he got a check every month from being a volunteer firefighter in New York. Was very successful down there and they've been trying for a long time to get it up here. So right now, like I said, the state's funding the administration, but they're not funding their share of it per contribution.
It is an amazing program. We had it in New Jersey, just because I have this one story. We did it for our fire department in one of my volunteer firefighter towns. And, you know, young kids come in, they sign up, we start 5 years later. He's trying to buy a house. He had no idea how he was gonna have the down payment. He walks in and he's telling me, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm like, you can borrow from your LoSAP account. And he didn't realize, but at the time there, our LoSAP contribution was $80,000 a year. The town voted to make it a very high contribution. And it gave him the ability to buy his first home. So the program works really, really well. But we're not funding it like, well, you know, you would have to fund it significantly.
When we
Larger.
started this program, Dale and I said it's not gonna benefit us very much. But we have a robust junior firefighter program right now, and those kids are getting that credit starting now. So if they stay here for 20 to 30 years, they're gonna be, it might be something for them, and I'm excited about that.
And is that transferable? It is, isn't it, in the state of Maine?
I don't understand it.
It's some other departments have it.
Oh, yeah, but yes, it's a statewide program,
So
yes.
if I go to Presque Isle and work,
Mhm.
in a volunteer fire department, it's gonna transfer.
Yes. Yeah, the one thing, they won't let us do personal contributions into it. They'll only let you do the town, the municipalities.
Do they put that into a IRA or anything? Do you know?
The lady from Corbridge came and met with everybody and everybody got to pick their investments, how they wanted it to go.
Yes, it is very similar.
Yeah.
So is every town required? to
No,
contribute?
no one's required.
So in Lincoln County, how many of the other towns contribute?
I don't have that answer. I'm not quite sure. I know Lincoln County has quite a few because Fred Brewer on Damascotta Fire. He's an incredible accountant and he's really been on the committee to establish LoSAP. And he's pushed it hard to all of us. And he's been a tremendous help for us.
Any other questions, Chief? Ready for a vote?
I'll make a motion. $314,912. Second.
For the select board, 314,912, and moved and second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of that figure for the select board? 1, 2, 3, 4 yeses. 0 nays and 1 absent.
Joe, we got $314,912 for fire services. Do we have a motion? I'll second. Thank you. Any more discussion or questions? All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All those opposed? All those absent? Two absent. Brendan out on a call or?
He said he wasn't
Brendan is-
coming this evening.
He is,
That is too bad.
he's unable.
I guess we might just keep them up there and do capital now.
Mhm.
Capital.
Select boards and budget committees always like my operating budget. It's relatively low compared to some of the others. Then they don't like my capital budget. My capital budget, is not as low as everybody else's. Several years ago, 3 years ago, we started coming to you folks, to replace our 1990 Pierce Clumper, our engine 3. At the time, it was 880,000. As of today, it's $1.2 million. With prepayment discounts, we can bring it down, and we took off some of the equipment that was on it. Brings it down to 1.1. We currently have 289,642 in our capital budget designated towards this truck. I started speaking with the finance company with some of the options. As soon as those are all complete, I'll be with Julie, and she's got the big picture. I have my department's picture, but she's got the whole town's picture, so I'll come to her. We're looking at, they offer 5, 7, 10-year lease purchase. This is almost identical to what we did with the ladder truck. We bought that on a lease purchase, and then when the town did a bigger bond for other things, we rolled it in that. We have a 4-year lead time. So we buy that truck, we order that truck this summer, it's 4 years before it's going to be here. When I became chief, we had to replace our engine 2. And I had no idea what to do. Our predecessors did all the purchasing of the equipment all themselves. And none of us were involved in it. Sometimes we didn't even know a truck was coming, and a new fire truck would arrive. And so it was a lot of money to be learning on the fly. And so I've decided this time put together a truck committee of members of the fire department that have met with our salespeople. They've met with the fire department. They've handled a lot of it. I've been right there with them. watching and guiding and offering some suggestions as we went. But this evening, they're prepared to share with you their findings. And so our chairperson is Derek Reed, and he unfortunately is not able to be here tonight. He is on a business trip in South Carolina. And so he's passed it off to Daniel Jones. So I'll let you folks go right ahead.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you I haven't had the opportunity to meet, I'm Daniel Jones, lieutenant on the fire department. I've been here for about 5 years now. First off, I want to thank you all for giving us the opportunity to come here and speak with you all tonight. We're here to, as Chief said, to present our proposal for the fire department's next apparatus purchase. This is something that the committee has been working on for the past several years. Or a couple of years, I guess, not several. Through that time, we've all worked together to gather input from the entire department, review different options with the manufacturer, and make sure we're planning responsibly for the long-term needs of the town and the department. Tonight, we're going to walk you through the reasonings behind the project, what the department identified as priorities, and why we believe this particular truck is the best choice moving forward. Several members of the committee standing behind me will briefly speak on different parts of the project so we can cover everything clearly. If possible, we'd ask that questions be held to the end just so we can get through everything, and a lot of the questions may be answered further into our presentation as well. So again, we appreciate your time and consideration, and we look forward to speaking with you all. So to start off, I said Daniel Jones. I'm standing in for Lieutenant Reed, Derek Reed, as our chairperson for tonight. He wanted to be here, but his business trip for the company he works for got planned, so he's not able to be here. The rest of the committee standing behind me we're gonna rotate through and hopefully cover all the bases. First, like I said, some of the work that we've done over the last few years is meeting with our sales rep. We've met with him a few different times, phone calls, in person, going over different options. He brought us specs of different trucks to look at, to compare to, and pretty much show us, like, is this kind of what you're looking for? Is it not? There's not a lot of things, but some things have changed in what you can and can't do over the last few years in the past. So we had to learn some of that things. So, stuff can't be mounted on the outside of trucks anymore. Everything needs to be inside. And one of the biggest things that we did is every person in the committee met with every person on the department to discuss what they wanted to see in the new truck and what they liked about certain trucks. And so when we speak tonight, everything we say is input from the whole department, not just the committee. To start out, I'm going to talk about the importance of us trying to be proactive and planning for the future. So one thing besides this truck that we took a lot of consideration in is the next trucks coming up. So we identified some things that we can do when engine 3 is replaced. We're going to be able to move some equipment to other trucks to try to help utilize them the best as possible. So some trucks that are more higher utilized, we'll be able to take some equipment off and put them on a lower utilized truck. So that'll save us in the long run of trucks being used too much and use other trucks that aren't used as much. Some other things we've done is we're going to try to increase pretty much what I just said, increase the versatility between all of our trucks. So we have some trucks right now that are almost strictly used for certain calls, but once we get equipment moved around, all of the trucks will be pretty versatile and be able to go on a numerous amounts of calls. For now, I'm gonna have Eli come up and he's gonna be talking about the key priorities that the department has identified.
Good evening. Eli Johnson. I've been with the department since high school in 2017. Maintaining this truck that we're asking for is similar to the ladder truck that we have. This truck pump panel will be similar to the pump panel on the ladder truck. The compartment space will also be same as the ladder truck as far as space for tools and equipment. The controls in the cab will be pretty much identical to ladder one. The cab style will be the same as ladder one, which gives us more room for personnel. The truck spec has 1,500 gallons of water capacity, which gives us more water to a scene with ladder one and the new truck that we would like. Following the total of 2,000 gallons with just 2 trucks arriving on the scene. This truck has the most water capacity for a single axle truck while still giving us enough personnel, equipment, and space. This truck is a custom cab design and is not a commercial chassis.
My name's Kendall Whitehall. I've been on the department for 44 years. And before I start, I'm gonna ask you something, John. You was on the fire department. Whenever Paul.
He said no questions till the end.
Paul asked, we got any other things to talk about? What usually came out, what I said,
What you said,
what I usually start with.
who knows what came
All
out?
right. What I start off that we have a problem. Not I, but the department. So. On the engine, 3 compatible with a new truck, the truck's engine 3 is pretty slow. I kind of make a joke about it, but when we go up over the hill, I'm standing out of the seat trying to get this thing to go. And the new truck is a Cadillac. Probably when this truck came out, engine 3 came out, 1990, it was probably the best truck, but it's getting old. Pumping wise, gotta flip the switch, wait a couple seconds to get the thing in gear, put it in drive, and so pump. The ladder truck, basically what we're gonna be getting the same to, you push a button and it's already set to go, we're ready to go. Leon is talking about is the water capacity. We're gonna get 500 more gallons. So that's roughly 2,000 gallons to be on scene or whatever. The new truck will have 6 people versus 3 people. That truck, engine 3, used to hold 5 people. Now, since they changed the laws and stuff, that we can't put 2 people in the back. It's where the law is. So if we want to use that truck and take 2 people out, we got to go out of that truck and put an air packs on instead of going down the road and putting air packs ready to go. So that's a little time consuming, and when it's time to do something, to fight the fire, whatever, 30 seconds could change totally different. It's 2 in, 2 out. With engine 3 or whatever, you can't do that. This other truck we get approved of, it's we got 6 people, so there's 12 people there, 2 in, 2 out. So, but coming back with, we got a problem. It's just like, well, Abden, when you need a clam fork, do you wait till it breaks, fix it till it breaks, or you go out and buy a new one? Because long as you wait, the more money it's gonna cost. And Paul's already mentioned that. And to me, it's a problem with it's gonna happen down the road with the town. It's gonna cost you more money, and sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And if you want us to be efficient with our jobs, we need new trucks, new equipment. So, that's it.
That's gonna be a tough act to follow, Kendall. I'm Amelia Bragg, been with Waldeboro Fire for about 21 years now. Gonna talk about the safety aspects of the truck. Gonna have an engine brake, which is gonna help the, slowing down process as well as an aggressive downshift. It's gonna have communications in the cab, which makes it's gonna have headsets, so it's gonna make it quieter for us to hear Lincoln's traffic, because we're not having to talk over the truck, we can talk to each other directly. It's more amplified for us in the truck. It's gonna have a lot more scene and emergency lighting, so we can see better on scene and help get the job done safely. Independence suspension and a backup camera to help us as well, maneuver the truck. And like Kendall and Eli said, the 6 people cab versus 3, 2 in, 2 out, kind of the same points that I was going to cover.
Just got a couple of closing remarks before we get to questions and the discussion. So again, I want to thank you all for taking your time to be part of these committees and letting us come and talk to you guys. This truck's something this department in the truck committee has spent a lot of time planning and discussing. Our goal throughout the process is to be as thoughtful, responsible, and proactive about the future needs of the department and the community we serve. We believe this apparatus will improve our ability to respond safely and effectively, provide the versatility we need for the wide range of calls that we go on, and position the department well for the long term. We also want to be transparent that apparatus costs continue to rise each year. And waiting longer will likely make the project more time-consuming and expensive. Our hope is to move forward with this as quickly as possible so we can secure the truck at today's pricing and ensure the department has the equipment it needs moving forward. We appreciate your consideration and support, and we're happy to answer any questions or discussing at this time.
May I make just a couple of comments?
Yes.
The manufacturer that we are looking at is Pierce Manufacturing out of Wisconsin. All of our apparatus that we have are made by that manufacturer. Folks that come and fix it are Pierce people. We've had nothing but good luck with Pierce. When we got our ladder truck, I was at the high school and I got a phone call from our salesman. And he said, "Chief, can you hold for a second?" I said, "Yep." A couple minutes later, this gentleman gets on the phone and introduces himself that he was Joe Blow. I'm the president of Pierce. He says, "I regret to tell you that we've determined that there is a flaw in one of the flies on your new ladder truck." At the time, the ladder truck was the most expensive purchase the town ever made, other than buildings or property. So I started to panic a little bit. They made it right. I don't know how many other companies would have done that. That was a very tough call for them to make. But they made it. They stood behind it. They fixed it. They put it back. Because that's the flaw that would have been maybe 20 years before it was found. So I've been to the factory multiple times. Dale's been to the factory. They've always treated us and the town very well. We did speak with the fire chief in Jefferson. They just got a new truck. They went with a company called Suffin. Their truck that they have is also 1.1 million. It's right in the ballpark of what the others are charging. One of the things that came up in the committee's interview of the department asking them what they wanted. One of the most important things that the most of them said was, can you make it as similar as the ladder truck? So they hit on that a little bit. The pump panel and the way the pump operates will be identical to the ladder. The switches inside the cab are gonna be identical to the ladder. Some of our firefighters, because their response is voluntary, they may go months in between opportunities to drive one of these apparatus. And the more similar we can make them, the safer it's gonna be for them, because they're gonna be more familiar with it, because no matter which truck they get in, things are gonna be relatively similar. So that was very important. So those are two things I just wanted to stress on top of what they were pointing out. So be happy to take any questions.
It looks like, just correct me if I'm wrong, looks like you're gonna get rid of one, possibly 1 and 3 and turn it into just one truck.
Possibly, yeah. I told Julie, I said, the fire department accepts that concept. We're not thrilled about it, but we accept it. We understand.
Okay.
We are currently right now, planning on purchasing the police truck. When they trade it in, Julie and I are still talking about that, what's gonna happen in that. But that would allow us, instead of using, one of our apparatus, with cones and barricades and storms and throwing chainsaws in them, we'll have a pickup truck that'll be more utility use, so.
You talked about getting rid of the 2 older trucks. Is there salvage value to these trucks?
Kyle found an app, but he's pretty excited about trying to sell. All of the trucks in the past that we've sold, they're just not. Engine 3, it's a 1990. Engine 1's a 1996. They're just,
Engine 3 might be kept by Public Works to do some of their blowouts of the culverts and things.
they do use it for that. They do use it for that.
They use it a lot.
But there might be, and we certainly are open to try to do that, so.
The only thing is, NFPA, tells you 25 years on a truck. So they're built so specialized that there's no market for them back to other departments at 36. And where we at 30 years old right now, 30 and 36 years old. So most trucks are being sold off and repurchased at 25 years. So that's why you go to sell these and there's like, farmers buying them. I don't know who buys them, but other fire departments typically don't. And if they do, then they're not getting their value out of it because they're looking for a 5 to 10 year service life out of a large purchase like that. So
If I could have, my dream scenario would be to get this new truck, and when it arrived, send engine 1 and have it rebuilt. It's a great truck. The problem is the engine is super. Engine 3's engine, well, it's pretty slow, but there's nothing wrong with the engines, the motors of these trucks. But it's everything around them. It is what's going, so if I could send it off and have engine 1 rebuilt and put back in and use it for another 20 years, I would love it, because there's nothing wrong with the motor in the truck. It's just everything around it's getting old.
And which truck did we put the engine replacing?
Engine 4.
Engine 4. I didn't know which one it was.
Yeah. It's engine 4.
Kelly?
You said it takes 4 years from the time you order it till it's delivered.
Now, when I spoke with Pierce this week, they have added on 800 employees and significant space to try to clear up some of this backlog. But they're not willing yet to tell us how much they're gonna do, but they are anticipating it being so.
So and I apologize if this is a silly question, but it says replace in 2028. That's what it says on my sheet here, which would be in 2 years. Should that be 2038?
Engine 1.
But then it says combine 1 and 3. This is where I'm
Yeah.
confused on the timing here.
And, yeah, engine 3 should have been replaced a long time ago. Engine 1 should have been replaced by now. Just for financial reasons, we've just keep them going. So I'm not quite, that may have come several years ago. I did a projection plan. And I'm assuming that's where it came from. And that was based on just trying to get it spread out from where we were at that date to try to help the town.
At the
space them
time
out.
when that was done, you would have gotten a replacement in 2020.
Okay, that's, I was
For
just a little
engine-
thrown by that number because
For engine
unless we can
three.
go back in time.
No, that's because then they were only 2 years out. Or they were only 3 years out, so that was where he was thinking. Now they're 4 years out.
What apparatus is most used?
Right now, I would say engine 4 is the most used. That has our extrication equipment on it for car accidents. And that's used a lot. Engine 2 and the ladder. And engine 1, they're all used quite a bit. Engine 3, we would like to use it more. It's just that it is so slow. I joke and say that kids pass us on bicycles and ask us where the fire is. Trying to get up the hills. It just can't get out of its own way. And we use it a lot more. If it was better suited. Engine 1, we use a lot. Because it's more suitable. It still works great.
Engine number 4 is the most used, and you said it has for accidents, it has the extra, isn't that also a 4-wheel drive?
It is.
Okay,
Yeah, and so when we bought that truck, we combined 2 trucks into one. We combined engine 2 and rescue 1 into that truck. Our old engine 4 was 4-wheel drive. We use it a lot for forestry. We also use it in storms. If it's snowing bad, we can take that truck. It's set up for chimney fires as well. So yeah, it does a lot.
so this new truck, is this gonna offload any of the calls that engine 4 is making?
Yes, our hope is that then engine 2 would not be our prime truck. This new truck would be the prime truck. And we would move extrication equipment over to engine 2. So engine 2 will take a lot of those calls. Initially, we were going to try to do it into engine 1, but with the likelihood of engine 1 going with engine 3, we're going to move it to engine 2.
So, you're gonna put extrication equipment on engine 2, which you already have. Okay, is there anything preventing you from doing that now?
Yeah, space, because that's one of our prime trucks.
Okay,
So it has to be ready. It has to be ready to go to, it's our class A pumper, and it's the one that responds first.
so,
No, ladders are mutual.
so number 1 and 3, you're still choosing to take number 2 because that's a better pumper truck.
Yeah,
Meaning
yeah.
if you have to make a choice,
Yeah,
right?
well,
Yeah.
but that's historically what we've done. If we purchased a new truck, then the old prime truck would step down a spot
Yeah,
and
okay.
and go with it.
I'm just looking at, so your highest usage truck, what can we do to, either offload some of that or preserve it? Because that's your only 4-wheel drive vehicle, right?
And once that equipment does get moved over, we can't just take the extrication equipment off and move it over now. Because that's specialized equipment and the compartments are set up for it. There's slide out drawers, they're very heavy. So it's gonna take some work to do that. And we can't give up that compartment space in any of those trucks right now because we have to keep them ready for structure fires and.
One last comment, if I may, please. Thank you for your patience. And I would assume that with 4-wheel drive, that's a real good feature to have, especially on those times when you're doing extrications on storms and so forth. So that's,
Yeah, We haven't really had to use it for any of that. The times we've used it have been, it was a blizzard for a chimney fire
In mud.
and then mud when we're out in the fields and woods.
So so I guess so is it most used, I apologize, one more question. Is it most used because it's of the forestry aspect, the
No,
four-wheel
car
drive,
accident.
or it's the car
Car
accidents?
accident.
But it's not the four-wheel drive?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I guess I've been waiting to the end because some of my questions are already answered, just to confirm. So if we were to go with the four-year lead time, you said,
Yes.
place 1 and 3 together to get this new number or whatever you're gonna make it out. That if we don't do that, then we're gonna be looking at trying to replace number 1 within a couple of years, be coming back in front of us, get another one. Right?
Yeah. We're all taxpayers here. We know. I mean, this is why we're presenting you the plan we're
We
presenting.
may not even have this new truck until we're trying to get another truck to replace engine 1, so I like the idea of replacing the two trucks for one. Space also, how much space do you have over there?
Yeah, when our station was built, trucks were a
Yeah,
lot
those
smaller.
little
They were a lot smaller than they are now. Oh, yeah.
The space wise could be a little bit beneficial to you too. 6-man cab, just like 6-person cabs, excuse me. 1,500 gallons, 1250 pump.
Yes. Yeah, 1,500.
1,500 pump.
Yeah, and I could have it certified as a 2,000 gallon minute pump. The reason I'm sticking with 15 is because then I would have to, the testing process would require me to draft off both sides. It's just a hassle. 1,500 gallons a minute is plenty for what we do around here. I don't need to say we have a 2,000 gallon pump, so.
I think that's all my questions. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Paul, this would be a pretty big truck, right? I mean, it's comparable to the ladder truck.
No, it'd be comparable lengthwise. It's gonna be comparable to engine 1 and engine 2.
Yeah, and with 1,500 gallons on it, it's pretty heavy. So what percentage of the town might be inaccessible to this truck in like now, or in snow, with heavy snow banks and stuff? Are there roads in town that would be a problem for a big
I
truck?
responded the other day in the fire department's car, and as soon as I got back, I emailed Chief Booker and the town manager. An ambulance is even gonna get down that road. That Explorer that I drive barely, and I was glad that there were snowbanks on the side were high, because I just sort of bounced off them going down. So there's, I can't give you a number, but I'm sure that
Is
there,
it significant, or?
we haven't had a fire yet that we couldn't get to.
Okay.
Every call we've had, we've gotten to.
Maybe not unscathed, but.
Yeah.
We fix the ones where we've gotten scathed. Paul, could you just talk about the process for the people who have never bought a fire truck before? Which is
Starting
well, just what happens once we buy it and you do go and visit it.
Yes, yeah. Like I said, when we did the ladder truck, I put in the original contract that I wanted to visit in the middle. And when I got out there, one of the head ladies at Pierce, she came to me and she was like, nobody comes out here in the middle of a build. Well, how come why was it so important? And like I told you before, I said to her, this is the most expensive purchase this town has made. And it's my name, my neck, and I'm here to make sure that it's right. And so it's a very intense process. This here, this is the start. This is where we start. Every single thing on that truck is itemized here. I mean, everything. And so this committee's been through it multiple times already. We will do it again, and then we will go to the factory and do it out there. With the pre-build, I included in this one, if it's approved, that we'll take, our town mechanic with us as well. When Dale and I went before, I think that would have been very helpful. I wish Dick Liddon was younger back then, because he would have been great to have out there on those questions. So I did include, a third person for the town mechanic to go as well with it. During the build, we get monthly updates on it. Any of you can go on and you can see the build process, though. It's all online. They show you. John Blodgett was on vacation once and he just swung in unannounced and said, I want to see our new truck being built.
They weren't happy, but they let me see it.
And, so then when it's all done, we go out and we do a final inspection of it. And we literally take this same spec that I just showed you and we go through it page by page by page and make sure that everything is right. We take that blue masking tape that the painters use, masking tape, and any blemish in the paint, anything, we mark it with that and they fix it. They fix it before it comes back. So, when the ladder truck was delivered, Julie would not let the salesman leave until he personally backed it in the fire station. We were.
Although the town here has bought a fire truck and it didn't fit in their bay, so it was really important that it fit in the bay and that he backed it in the first time.
And it's close.
It is close. Thomason's truck didn't fit in when it arrived. When Damascotta's ladder arrived, they went to back it in and it rubbed on the top of the door and they said, oh, once you get it loaded, it's gonna be fine. It never moved. This still rubs every day when it goes in and out now, so.
I'm not gonna say it's not close, if you ever see it.
But that's basically it. After that, then they deliver it.
Kelly?
I apologize again if this is a silly or dumb question. I've never bought a fire truck. I've never been a part of a group that has bought a fire truck. It's a 4-year lead time. You're wanting to order that, I would assume, now.
Well, after town meeting.
Exactly, I understand. I'm at this year.
Yeah.
1.1 million. Do you pay 1.1 million when you order it? Do you pay partial? And then the other question I had was you mentioned about financing. You financing all of it?
No, again, a lot of these details will be worked out with Julie based upon other needs of the town. Like I said earlier, we've got options for 5, 7, and 10-year leases. We have money that we can use as a down payment on it. That's already in there, just under 300,000 that we can use as a down payment, just finance the rest. A lot of those are going to be depending on the town situation at the time it comes to.
So how we bought the ladder truck, which was a very large purchase, we did a lease purchase. And I believe we were going to 10, I think it was 7 or 10 years originally. And then we put down our down payment money. And we did a lease purchase for the rest. And then it was about, what was it pegged originally? 4%?
Yeah, it was, I think it was all over 4.
It was a little over 4%. And then interest rates dropped significantly. So we refinanced it, which was really a good thing to do. And that's debt is going off. When would that debt be going?
You still have a couple more years.
Couple more years. Do we have 4 more years?
Hold on, I'll pull it up.
Peg can pull it right up. She's that good. It's gonna be close.
Gonna be close.
But there was the flexibility there. And when the budget committees, as of late, have decided that we can save or we can borrow, and we have to be nimble so that we can move with the economy. We decided that when it came to the larger purchases, we would try to borrow. Now, the town gets a much better rate when they borrow something than the average person does, so we have to also keep that in mind. It's not like we're going to go out and get a 14% loan on a fire truck, but I think it does, we haven't gotten the information yet from the lease purchase, but that would be something that he's expecting soon. We could do later on in the discussion in the future meeting dates that we have to actually have a discussion about that.
I do expect it anytime. I hoped for it for tonight. But, so I expect it anytime. So you will have that information.
So we have some flexibility, and I would just point out that it's not like we didn't know this was coming and we had talked about any purchases over $500,000. We always have to consider financing. So.
We have 8 years left.
That's okay.
Yeah, and you also need to know
That's
that
also
we,
rolled into other things.
that we tried, very hard, for grant funding for this truck.
Mhm.
For multiple years, with multiple people helping us do it and,
And there's nothing that says that we can't keep trying for those next 4 years. And actually, the fact that we put a down payment and have it ordered might actually help
Yeah.
us.
So we're gonna keep trying, but we have been working very hard to try to do that, and we've just been unsuccessful.
We tried it with the ladder truck and we've tried it since. Max, I will tell you that is one of the things that Max was not able to get funding for, that he was very, very disappointed.
He worked very hard at it.
Maybe we'll get it, you never know, and that also leaves, there's other ways. There's more than one way to buy a fire truck. I don't want to get into the whole cash discussion again. Like we had the other night.
But we'll keep trying, though.
More than one way to buy a
We'll
fire.
keep trying.
Have you looked into what it's gonna cost to possibly read the engine one?
Brendan has. He's looked into it. I haven't looked into it too much, depending on this conversation and what we decide has to happen to be best for the town. I'm not convinced that it's staying here is the best thing for the town. I'd love it. I'd love to rebuild it, but that's
That truck will be 34 years old by the time you decide to rebuild it.
right. Yeah,
So,
and like I said, the sad thing is the engines in these trucks are great. They have very little miles on them and hours on them. They have more hours than you think because the pumps on the trucks that pump the water, they run on the engines. So the whole time that truck is sitting there at a scene, it's running as if it was driving down the road. So the hours don't necessarily match up with the mileage on.
I see for like the aerial ladder truck that was bought in 2020 and the replacement would be scheduled for 2059. Whereas this truck is similar to, in many ways, the ladder truck. Would you expect similar longevity from what you're looking at?
How many of you know Jack Heller? Jack's one of our junior firefighters. It's gonna be his problem.
Do you want my crystal ball? I brought my crystal ball. Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. The one downfall to those, to that scenario is computers and electronics. So I can't answer your question. I would hope so. This town takes very, very good care of its equipment. I'm super, but you go out there right now and look at that 1990 Pierce sitting there, and you go in any other fire station around. We're very lucky.
I would just keep in mind, when you talk about regulations,
Mhm.
they're ever changing, right? So much to Paul's point, there's a good chance that truck will be a currently junior firefighter's problem, 30 years down the road. However,
Mhm.
if all of a sudden there's some regulation law that comes out that says you can't use that truck after 15 years, and we don't care what it costs.
Right.
That can be a problem too. So just something to throw at you.
When they went from open cabs to enclosed cabs, that was a huge issue.
that's one point I was gonna make is if they try to do that process, and you've been fighting that with Augusta.
Well, it's not Augusta, it's at the federal
Federal
level
level.
right now. It's the OSHA document.
Yeah.
It's, it probably had more dissension, than anything else that's come out of the fire service in history. I mean, that was nationwide against everything that was in that document. It basically would put most of us out of business.
Right.
So, so thank you, Derek, for bringing that up, but, we're hoping that it's stuff like
Some
that's
chance.
down the road and that they're not as, drastic as that document had them, but.
Someone brought the comment, Mike was about revalue, and sometimes you can get those to auction and they'll take them down south like Mexico. or
Yeah, they do.
Central America. If they're in decent shape, if not, contractors buy them.
Yeah, I offered our old engine for to Monhegan. I thought it'd be perfect out there. There, but.
I think engine 3 would be a great beer truck.
Use the fire hose.
Waldeboro, they would have.
Yes, Kendall.
Yes, I like to mention one thing, okay? Yeah.
We're in serious trouble.
Yeah, here we are.
See, why am I, when I started this, I had a lot more hair. This is part of the reason I have less.
All I can say is, I've been asking at least 2 trucks, and it kind of gets denied that I want a refrigerator on the trucks, and we can't get it because can't take that room for equipment, but I like to have a refrigerator on the truck if I could, please. Cold water.
Fortunately, there's a truck in Bristol that has one. That's why. Yeah, but we just can't give up the compartment space, so.
I respect the attempt.
Yeah.
Do you, so 4 years. And you have confidence everything can last those 4 years?
Yeah. I'm not sure what we'll do with engine 3. Again, all of you are invited to come to the fire station anytime.
We had said 9 o'clock Saturday
9
morning.
o'clock
for the-
Saturday, you're more than welcome to come. Yeah, but as far as engine 1 up, it's gonna be fine.
Can I add to that too, about, even during the week, if any of you guys have anything at all, I'm retired, so give me a call and if I'm available, I'll be happy to come down and show you the engines, talk about all you want to talk about, show you all you want to see.
So right now, we're not using engine 3 for anything.
Very
Do
little,
we
during
have to-
storms
do we
and
have to
traffic
use it
control.
for anything?
Trees down.
Treat them, but like if we have an extended call, we'll bring our other trucks back. Put them in service, we'll send engine 3 to the scene, to sit there, so it is being used, it has a purpose,
There's something.
but.
But if that, maybe I shouldn't even say this, but I'll say it. If you had the opportunity to get rid of engine 3 sooner than 4 years down the road, would you?
If it was a financial benefit for the town. Then sure, but if it's just gonna go pump out culverts,
No, that's
they can use it from here, so.
No, I
Well,
don't need that.
It's just not using a piece of emergency equipment to do something, they take 3 now.
They do, they take 3 now and it
Because
works great for
it
them.
works great for them and. It was just a thought, that way it's not taking out one of your,
No, I think we're all open to whatever,
they may say that.
whatever makes the town better, we're all for it, so.
Get a chance to get a financial benefit, get rid of it, or then
Somebody wants it,
you never know.
you never know.
It may be worth a lot more now than it is 4 years from now, that's what I'm saying.
We would have to disclose that it can be beat by a bicycle.
That's fine. They have slow donkeys down south.
I would like video of that. I would like video of a bicycle racing this fire truck.
Probably going down this hill, probably downhill, you'd still beat, bicycle still beat it.
Going up the hill.
I'm just saying, YouTube has ad revenue.
Pretty,
Actually.
We could make that in a Waldeboro tale thing.
Bike rider.
I have one technical question. So
the diesel trucks that the public can buy have diesel particulate filters and diesel exhaust fluid and such. And I guess the diesel trucks that you buy now, I don't have one now. I had one years ago, but it didn't have DEF. If you run out of DEF, it basically shuts the motor off, or it's a limp home mode or something like that. Are fire trucks exempt from that rule?
No, they're not. And we currently only have one truck. The ladder truck's the only one that runs on DEF.
Okay,
On DEF fluid. We do our monthly checks. They're all.
so it's not an issue with
No, we keep
response.
fuel, water, DEF, everything is full all the time, ready to go, so.
But engine two regens doesn't it?
Engine two is a regen, but we can inhibit it.
You can, yeah.
That's the one thing that the fire trucks do have, is we can inhibit it from going into regen,
Okay, that's the DEF filter.
so that we can get back.
Or
Well,
not
it's a
DEF,
particulate filter.
DPF, yeah.
I got one thing, John, I thought about it, I had said something to Julie about it, but it kind of. I've been thinking about this with our compensation for the retirement. And the main purse, we've been getting quite a bit of, like 25,000 left over lap for 2025 of our payroll. And it's looking like we'll probably have 25-30,000 left over payroll possibly this year. You're at 98,000.
I'm more concerned about percentage.
Think, 60%.
Yeah. Well, it was based
But
on,
you have leftover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like last year, you had 25,000 left over. I was thinking about it and you made a point that kind of re-sparked it, and I asked Julie if I should bring it up. Is maybe we should take that money and put it into the main purse for you guys to build that.
In the low
Close
set.
that.
In the LoSAP, sorry, in the LoSAP to build up for the guys that are coming up through. Is that something you would consider?
I absolutely would.
I mean, I know we've already voted on it. Do we really need to?
That's left. You're talking about this current year's.
That right,
Yeah.
Policy change from the board.
Yeah, that'd be something the board would be doing, right?
The select board.
And it's already allocated for the department. For
Right,
Right,
26.
you could just move it,
Right. But I'm just thinking.
but it
you
might,
know,
it would be a policy change that if you could do it as a policy change that if you have leftover funding, you could come before the board.
I would just
and
do it
move
as payroll. I wouldn't do it at anything else. just
Right.
payroll. I was just thinking about that because he brought up a point. I thought about it, but Jesus, $6,700 really isn't much to put in for somebody's retirement.
About $300 a person.
Well,
It's
the
about
lowest was
$300.
87, the most was 500, and as he explained, it depends on how much.
I understand that, but I mean, probably some of the younger
I
guys.
know, it'd be awesome. for
Gals will
them.
be probably more apt to be there more than the older people. They're probably sleeping at night,
So when.
like I would be.
So when the town voted to include EMS and fire in the 2C special PERS. Some of those, we were hoping some of the firefighters would take advantage of being in that 2C. So that didn't really come to fruition. Because they are not putting in the hours required to meet that minimum. So funding that LoSAP portion does make quite a bit more sense because it would benefit more people and it actually might be used as a really, when you're recruiting tool, when you're talking about investing that kind of money into some type of a fund.
My only.
Good idea.
My only issue with that is that they don't tell us how many hours you need to attend, and you need to be here to know when your main purse starts to kick in. So there is no goal to meet, so it makes it hard. You don't know if you're making enough hours or if you're not making enough hours. That's the only issue I've had with main purse. And
That would be a discussion you should have with Peg then.
I think it's more of a job type, your per diem versus part-time regular, you have a regular schedule, you're expected to work whatever it is. The position itself would be covered if it was a part-time regular position.
The thing was though, that some of our firefighters might have otherwise covered jobs that could move into the 2C, so that was part of why we did it.
One of the things I shared with you is that we're 29 on the roster right now, and this is a great problem. I bought 4 more gear racks this past year, and we still have people doubled up. We've got some that have joined that we just don't have turnout gear for them yet.
Oh, I asked you about space.
So it's a great problem to have.
What are you gonna do with that Jeep?
Well,
That's space right there.
the association, well, we've been talking, we're considering doing some fundraising and making it our antique piece of apparatus.
You'll be coming in front of the board to get that.
Yeah, we'll buy it for $1.
And you'll store it
Store it where?
someplace else. Cause I mean, I think that's a valid point. If the association is willing to take that over and store it. That would open up more space for your racks and things like that. That's just a thought.
Would Bill Maxwell store it?
There's no room up there.
There's no room up there.
He was gonna put in an addition, wasn't he? At the Historical
Yeah, I don't
Society?
think that's gonna,
Yeah.
we do have space in the back where. Something could be. But. Sorry. I'm assuming they would allow that. I don't know, just speaking for the others.
Anything else for the fire department?
It's a great turnout. Thanks for putting all this time in. There's a lot I know none of us saw you doing. It's work, real work. It's a lot of thinking. It's a lot of lost sleep. It's a good presentation.
Very nice presentation.
Yeah, good presentation.
Thank you.
Very proud.
You,
Right.
You set a high bar for everybody else. I hope
Yeah,
you're
no
all paying
pressure.
attention.
All right. Well, any objection, we'll take a break, 10-minute break.
Hey, Pam, can you just break the video? I can help you through it. You just click on the microphone, the video, and it shuts it.
We should have jumped through it.
This sort of time.
Okay, thank you. You on?
Next on the agenda.
There you go.
I'll call the meeting back in.
Sorry.
Now, we are going to discuss capital. Rest of capital?
The rest of capital.
Rest of capital.
That would be your longer sheet in the middle. So, I hope you all read your first part of this capital improvement program. Everybody seemed to like that last year. And then the big sheet in a small town. Explains it in a little bit more detail. It only goes out 10 years because what we found is 10 years is about as good of a guesstimate that you can make. And if you see, I have bought my magic ball tonight to be able to see into the future. If we start off with the municipal building, we have a few interesting things going on. We did have the HVA system in this section of the building redone, which is why we're warm tonight. Yay. However, we are also doing the insulation in the fire bay, and they are run by specific type of heaters,
Well, the Modine.
the Modine heaters
Seal them out.
that it was also recommended at some point we consider replacing, so. Part of the request for $29,000 included the $4,000 for materials for the police reception area. We have some man door work that needs to be done by our trusted locksmith and his assistant Abden. Who made a quick door repair the other night. Anyway.
Yeah, good job.
And we also have some overhead door work that we have to do. So basically, this $25,000 on out is going to hopefully accomplish replacing those Modines after the installation is done in the bays, because replacing it now would not be a good idea. And that contract has been awarded, and all that insulation work next in the bay for the fire bay is all covered under a grant. So that hope explains what we're planning to do with our $29,000 this year. And the reason that there is a negative if you look at the balance FY 2026 is there's a grant and rebate pending. So as soon as we get reimbursed that will come up a little bit, not much, because we spent every penny we could. So that's where we're at on the municipal building. The other thing that has come up religiously, and I'll just bring it up because it was on Facebook and it's on my mind since Christmas, is why don't we have a Christmas tree out front? And that is a huge issue apparently for people. And the reason we don't is we have no electric out front. In the past, an extension cord was run out of a window. Out of Peg's window, which let heat out. But it was not a safe thing. So at some point, I'm sure it would be great before we pave the parking lot next time to do a trench and run some conduit underneath, so that potentially someday we could have some electric out front. But for all the inquiring minds who want to know, that's why we don't have a Christmas tree.
Can we do the same as we do on the boat? Put solar lights on?
So we tried that.
Right there.
We tried that before. They lasted about a day. And when I say they lasted about a day, they were not there the next morning.
Oh.
The float works because so. Anyway.
They take it out of the front when the police department, okay.
Well, they do go off at some point, and it is actually quite dark out there. Like, you don't realize how
Yeah,
dark,
still.
how dark it is, but anyway, just. Someday we might,
We don't vote on all this individually, we go.
no, we go down the
Yeah.
line, but, the next would be EMS reserve, equipment reserve. As you can see, we have money left over, in our ambulance fund that would go to the purchase of this next ambulance that we received $350,000 for.
Did you get the news?
Did you get the check?
Is it-
We got where I actually had to sign in and say, yes, we want this, so it's ours.
Oh, wow.
So I actually went into the system and said, yes, we want it. Here's our DUNS number. Aren't you happy with us? So that's really exciting. So what I did was I budgeted for what we will need to outfit it, and that came out to be $10,000 over the next 3 years, because we probably won't get it till 28, maybe into the fiscal year of 29, so we should be fine. And that's the excitement there in EMS. Fire equipment reserve, as you can tell, we just heard fire truck. $75,000 was budgeted in that line item. We have $289,642 already budgeted from prior years. Because I do not know what the lease purchase would potentially look like, as of tonight, I can't tell you what my recommendation would be. I can just say that in the past, what all of you have, or what prior budget committees and prior select boards agreed to was anything over $500,000, we look into financing. But that does not mean that we can't have a nice down payment or do some of finance and some saved funds. And it also doesn't mean that we're gonna stop pursuing grants. So
Would, we've got what would that be, like 3,600 or 360,000 after this year. After July with the 75. So that, would that be enough for a down payment on that?
yes,
And then with the
And there's-
75,000, I'm just curious, it's 75,000 a year enough to make payments on that, or would that?
I
Do we have
have,
any idea? of what financing would
I
be?
have no idea. I was hoping that Paul would
Paul
have
said
received that, but
He would
I'm
get it.
sure we'll have it by the next time we meet and I can talk more intelligently to it.
And you wouldn't have to pay the balance until.
4 years.
4
you
years,
took
yeah,
Delivery from.
yeah.
You could have another 300,000.
Yeah, we could have
potentially.
300,000
It'd be
on
almost
top of it.
600,000, yeah, close to 600,000.
Have paid off before we can receive it.
So
You
there's,
might even be able to negotiate the first payment.
correct. And we may, I mean, and you may just say, hey, let's pay what we've got, and that pays down, there's a couple of different ways to buy a fire truck. So we will explore all the ways and present it to you as soon as I have that information.
So I'm just curious what the mechanism is for town approval.
So if we lease purchase it, there is, so the town approval is approving the capital budget every year. So we've already been very clear that we've been saving for the replacement of this, and every year the town approves it. If we do a lease purchase, it really does not have to go before the voters.
Okay,
But if you wanted it to, it could. You know, those are always choices.
John?
I don't want to make an assumption, but if I understand the conversation, this new truck is gonna replace 1 and 3. Is that correct?
That's theoretically, that's what he said. Reluctantly is that's what he said.
Well, who makes that determination?
I would say ultimately, it's the select board.
And that's why I asked the question about what's it gonna take to refurbish three, not one.
No, I understand, yeah.
If that was identified in the ballot question, that we are trading in the two old fire trucks for a single new truck, that would probably increase the number of yes votes on that line item.
If you're not, if you decide that we're actually going to finance it and not lease purchase it, then it would go to the vote and that would be a good argument. Yes, it would.
Maybe more acceptable to the public. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, you're gonna get support of public fire.
Yeah. But I can't, like I said, I don't have the numbers to run. I don't have any interest rate. I haven't talked about prepay. Do we get a break if we prepay? And then again, if we wanna do a lease purchase for a couple of years and wait for the interest rates to drop and refinance, I also wanna make sure we don't get caught in that weird refinancing where you make a payment and then you have to wait 12 months before you could refinance. So I just wanna make sure we understand it all before I give it to you.
Was the ladder truck, was that financed through the manufacturer?
Yes,
Through the manufacturer,
we did a lease purchase for it.
so it wasn't a
made
bank,
the
there was no bank, no
It
commercial.
made the most sense at the time. We had down payment money, but it made the most sense at the time.
Mhm.
Because they gave us actually, at the time, the 4% and change was a good interest rate. It's just that 2 years later, interest rates really tanked. So we were able to really take advantage of a better interest rate. So does anybody have any other questions? There's a utility vehicle that we put $15,000 in here for. And I continued that down just to level everything off, but again, if they really are going to be interested in the half-ton police truck,
Cruiser, yeah.
I'm not sure, or
Need to go any further than the 15, probably not gonna charge them 15,000.
well, no, but again, is that the best use? Should they have a different truck other than the 1500? What do they want to do with the truck? So that might be more of a conversation. Do they want a little bit, maybe a 2500?
I would recommend keeping that in there this year, start building, because that 1500 is not gonna last that long.
Correct.
Chasing branches and stuff.
Correct. So
Throwing
that's
fire
why
gear
I
in the
was,
back.
I'm sure we'll have other trucks to go in behind it.
Right, but someday you're gonna need some beefier, I think.
you might
Oh,
need
yeah,
something. I
True,
mean,
a true utility truck.
a true, right, that's what I was thinking, something with compartments that Kendall could have his refrigerator.
Like John had mentioned, that'll help reduce the engine 4.
Correct.
That's,
Okay.
yeah, actually, he just made my point is that that utility vehicle, that engine number 4 that's an expensive piece of equipment. So if we can offload some of the usage on that, that'd be great.
We also have turnout gear and equipment, and there is a balance in there, but I know there is turnout gear that he is going to purchase. And that is just a standard contribution that we've been making over the years to build it up so that when you replace sets, you're doing them more than one set at a time. You want to do them a couple sets at a time. And that turnout gear has gotten very expensive. When I started out my career, you could outfit a firefighter in $800 worth of gear, and I think now it's over $5,000 total.
Wow.
It's gotten pretty expensive. If you turn the page, we're now into the police department. And that's, if you'll recall, a few years back, we decided to take the cruiser out of the operating budget, the capital, and we just plan to budget for these items. You will note that the Explorer is a little bit cheaper than what we had anticipated, and that is because he is going to be using some of his grants and gifts money to supplement the outfitting of the police cruiser, and we'll get, because we're on a regular schedule now, we'll get a better trade-in value technically, but now we are also having the fire department vehicle, but they will give them something in trade, so. And we do get a really good deal, I found out. We've been getting really good deals, better than some other towns get because our record of our every year being a repeat buyer, we get a little bit of a better discount than some of these other communities, and I'm really proud of that. I'd like to save the money. Next is our public works equipment reserve. I want to point out that, I pointed this out the other night, that, the Kubota tractor that was repaired, we put that out another couple of years because that's in good shape. I added last year you authorized a cutter mulcher, which I will tell you was great. It's been used. They've done a great job with it. We're not renting one anymore, but I did put $2,000 in there. That's a new line item, to replace that. I also did some homework with our supplier for our vehicle, to try to be able to chat more about, are we saving enough money or are we not saving enough money? And so if you were to look at when we have to replace them, I had something here. There it is. So for the heavy duty trucks, the ones up top, for the double axle, and the 6-wheel single axle dump trucks. From now until the last one that we have to replace. In the near future, we'll have saved 1,453,780 till the time that the last one has to be last two have to be replaced. Well, the last one has to be replaced in 2034. I asked our supplier to give me some type of an idea of where we might be looking at costs. And his response was, well, I don't know. So, he did share with me that he has something right now for the smaller vehicles, right around, and these are outfitted, John, with so when we buy a dump, we typically get an angle plow and a wing. And believe it or not, they're expensive. So we're looking right now at about 198,000 for the smaller truck.
For the 6-wheeler.
For the single axle. Single axle one, we're looking at about 198,000.
A wheeler? You say?
And the wheeler, he said we're right around, now, he has one right there, right now for 245.
I was close, 250. All outfitted? They put the plow in.
Totally outfitted. But he said it's a little bit, he said nicer than what we have, probably more of what you're accustomed to.
No, I've got a Peterbilt, I'm a lot better.
Yeah. I know. So that's where we're at with the Public Works Department. You know, again, when we put these together, they are a plan. We do the best we can to figure it out and again, he said he doesn't know what's gonna happen in the future. So he couldn't tell me in 5 years, what do you think? He laughed at me. But if you look at it,
Well, I guess my question would be.
so we'll be saving 310,000. You know, by 3034 for the one, 314 for another, 270, 287 for 5, 272, but again, and there is play, so like when you look at this, and literally, you could have a 2022 in worse shape than the 2020, so all of these have to be looked at individually as to when they get replaced. You can get a bad year. You know, so,
I think it's probably go to John. The next one we're potentially replacing is the 2019, correct?
Yeah, that's the,
What, I wonder what the trade-in value would be if we bought the new one now versus waiting.
When's that due? In 2029, 3 years?
What would be the trade-in value? Would we be saving quite a bit of money?
I don't know.
I don't think we'd save a whole lot.
No, you don't think so?
But our trade-in value will be better than it's been in the past because we're actually gonna stick to a schedule now, and some of those trucks were getting much older. Than they weren't being replaced every 10 years, so they'll be worth something when you trade them.
I mean, there's a lot of single axle dump trucks out there for sale. A lot of these dealers.
Oh, and-
They have a lot of them, so.
But this one's one of the tri-axles. I mean.
No, that's single axle.
I mean,
The 19 is single axle.
Yeah.
oh, yeah, oh, I see, I missed that, yeah.
It's the baby wheeler that nobody liked me calling it last year, so I'm going with the single axle dump truck, not the baby wheeler or the daddy wheeler. So that's where we are. I talked about just so you know, about the bulldozer. They say there's plenty more life in that. It's not used that often.
Okay, good. I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah, they say it's not used often. It will be the next public works director halfway through his career, according to Will. But that's not used a lot.
They last forever.
The list, yeah, that's what I was. that's
Where's it
exactly-
used anyway? Road construction?
Doing roads.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot of hours on it then.
Um. And the next big ticket item is as you went over with Will, the highway construction reserve. And that highway construction reserve, that balance, that some of that money is for the downtown project. The speed tables, just so everybody's aware of that. That's just not money he hasn't spent, it's money he shouldn't spend until this project starts. He talked about the surface paving program, sidewalk reserve. We did put in this year for LED streetlight, it says conversion, we already have them, but this would be to buy new lights and also for any type of repair that we might have. We need to start saving in the event we need to do work on the solar field that's at the transfer station, and street lighting. I know you went over everything with John, during his presentation for the transfer station. And then we did put in for Marine Park Reserve. There is a section, if you go to Marine Park, which is in Dutch Neck, on the left-hand side of the ramp that needs to be repaired. We had a cost estimate for approximately $45,000 from the engineering estimate that I put in there to do this year. We put it off for a little bit, hoping to get a grant. Not saying we still can't get a grant. There's one that came out the other day we'd like to try for, but if not, it still needs to be addressed. How many? We do have a lot of people who actually use more so Marine Park for more pleasure boating than clamming, actually, where Pine Street Landing is more of our clamming community. But there are clammers. I was there the day the river was covered with ice and there were still clammers using that ramp. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
you
how
can't
they.
get out from the upper landing, that's the only place to go.
So
Beautiful spot there.
it's
I see both. I see it when I go. It's just.
yeah, it's both. It really is a beautiful spot. And on the last page,
Actually, Julie, under the Friendship Street School Reserve, what, the $52,000, what is that money?
that is still money left over in reserves that the town voted on to use for items. We still have the money in there for the if I say it wrong, somebody will correct me, the Woody Adelgid treatment.
Woolly.
Woolly,
Woody,
woolly,
Woolly Adelgid.
woolly.
That we still have money in there for the welcome signs.
Okay, so that's not for the Friendship Street School.
No, the
You
Friendship
don't have any
Street is
obligation.
gone, but that,
Okay.
though, that funding has already been voted on by the voters, so that's
Just hasn't
safe.
been spent yet.
Okay.
Hasn't happened.
All right.
And same thing with public landing reserve, that's for, that's actually for Pine Street, and we have that money there, because there needs to be repairs of Pines. If you go to the back page, you will see a new line item for community center / park. We put money in here to, basically, we have two major recreation projects. One is the site of a former manufacturing place on Friendship Street. And there is now going to be a beautiful Madomic River Community Park. Which we received funding from the state for $500,000 to cap the existing foundation and put up tennis court, basketball court, and other incidentals to a park. So that $160,000 would help with our share of the match. So that money would be allocated towards that, and we could also potentially use some of that money to begin the design of the community center. I don't want to steal the thunder of the recreation committee who is going to come before the select board and talk about all of those things. Well, at least the community center part. But as you can see above, we still have money in the Gay Bailey Recreational Fund. So some design could be used out of there. But we need to at least invest some funding into the park, since we did receive a $500,000 grant.
How much of that is matching?
So I went with the 160 would be our match. But some of that could be used if we do some of the work ourselves, which Public Works would do. But I put the worst case scenario, if Public Works said we absolutely can't. But $100,000 is the minimum that we could do, so we'd have to have them do $60,000 worth of work. Which, if we're talking about, so if you think about the park. If you think about the former manufacturing place.
The old Sylvania.
I'm not allowed to say it.
You're broken.
It's kind of high. So one of the thoughts was of a way is we have our own quarry, essentially, where we screen our sand. One of the reasons Will didn't want to sell the tailings for the sand screening was we could use our own tailings to create the berm that will even out from the quartz, the height down. And Public Works could haul that and place it. So that's something in kind that could be done to help alleviate some of the financial actual match.
Guys, so the Gay Bailey Recreational Fund, there's 144,000 in that. And you said some of that could be used to offset our match?
No, that would be that was strictly for a community center. So the site plan and development and the Gay Bailey Recreational Fund.
Okay.
That is strictly for community center and the fields. It's not for the park.
Okay, so I'm confused but when it says 160,000, it says community center / park.
Yes. Again, there's nothing here that says community center, so I put it all in one line, but technically the 160,000 was for the park. I can make another line if you would like.
No, I was just.
So you put it in the
confused.
wrong line, just so we could see the words.
Yeah.
I was just confused.
I probably, no, it's me. I should have put the community center in its own little line.
I like that.
But
So, but this 160 is for the park,
The 160 would be for the park, and yes.
which is the
we're-
matching grant.
Right, that's, if Public Works could do nothing, it would be 160, but Public Works can do something.
Say if we're saving tailings for the project, then I would assume they would hold the.
They would haul the
They would haul the
tailings, and we have an extremely good, equipment operator who I'm sure could place them per a plan. But I wanted to be covered. But that is a place if you needed to make some decisions that
Said the minimum's 100.
the minimum would be 100.
And if we were to suggest cutting that back from 160 to 100. And then Public Works couldn't do it.
Right, that would be a problem. But I didn't want to mislead anybody in saying it has to be cash. It can be cash and in kind.
Right.
So we could look at doing 100, but then the 60 would be in kind
The 60 would be
to reduce this by 6.
correct.
As Will talked about, is availability for this year with all the road work?
So I'm not, it would not, I don't think it would be occurring in the spring or the summer. It would be in the fall. And it would probably occur when they're running sand. Or before or after, but they may be running sand in the spring this year, so I'll have to double check with Will, but he didn't seem to think what would be a heavy lift.
I was gonna say, just by him wanting to save the tailings, it sounds like to me he's planning on doing this. To me.
Again,
But you also gonna use the tailings for Old Route 1 too.
correct. There's a lot of tailings up there. I don't know if you've been up there. And I don't know if it's all tailings or if he'll need some type, he was explaining to me sizes of gravel. We got into this whole long discussion. And I will be honest, at some point, my eyes glazed over. Do we have dirt? Can we use it? I know,
You don't want.
I know, John, but
Stupid question. So the cost of the park is $660,000.
yes, well, it's not the total cost of the park. It's the grant that we've received and our match. It's going to be more than a $660,000 park.
So what is the total cost of the park?
We don't know yet.
Does that mean signed by the recreation committee?
No, it is the park committee, and that is, we just got some new plans, so it's ever evolving. But we have a commitment to the courts, so the courts portion is what is located on the existing foundation.
Where all the concrete is would be cap, that's the cap now.
That's the cap.
That's what the courts are gonna be.
That's what the 500,000 grant is for.
Yes, because we got the grant because we have to locate tennis courts there or pickleball
Oh, I
courts.
remember that because. of
Right,
the- yeah.
because of the,
Yeah.
yes, because we had a previous grant
Yeah.
for tennis courts at AD Gray, so we had to do an in-kind switch to be able to get it, so. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that we're getting an amazing park for $660,000. We're getting a portion of a park, a phase of a park for $660,000. Of which more work will be done, and the committee is going to spend a lot of time this spring, and our new chairperson, Michael Amico. There's going to be a lot of public outreach to get public input and start to see work at the park. One of the things that Public Works is going to do is go in there and try to level everything off that is on the foundation. Clean up everything that we can clean up and start to use that space for events and things as much as we can.
It's starting to look like there's progress in this community, will start seeing progress rather than just I like to just see a sign.
Right, well, we're getting there because we have that sign, we have the new signs approved, so that sign will. It will match the welcome signs, that will match the sign in Public Works, that Quarry Hill. We will cover up that ugly top part of that sign out front.
I hesitate to raise the issue, but can we use any of that grant to take down the Hofstas house?
No, we cannot. unfortunately.
There is an old.
Are we waiting on money
We are waiting.
for the abatement money?
We are waiting on money for the abatement and we are going to apply this next round for the actual demolition. I know it seems like everything moves slowly at times. It only took 8 years for Maine Health, but getting the grant funding in a town of this size is really important, so it does take some time. And then the other is our unemployment compensation reserve. We put $5,000 in because we are, and I'll let Peg explain this, but we are self-funded for any unemployment claims we have.
That just means if someone files for unemployment, we would be on the hook for paying for that. Subscribing to an insurance type of unemployment. That's self-pay, we pay it directly to the state unemployment.
Is that a new policy to do it that way? We've been, okay.
Been this way for a long time.
And Peg is very diligent about when we do get a claim, making sure that it can come back to you even after an employee's left here in good standing, and then they move on, and sometimes you get a charge back, and Peg is extremely diligent about making sure that we're not paying more than our fair share. So I don't know if you want to vote on this tonight, or if you would like to wait to see what I come up with the fire department financing. I have a feeling you'd probably say yes, wait.
Is that gonna affect it at all?
It could, if you guys decide that you want to fund more now. I don't, like I said, I can't speak to it, I haven't seen it.
And the wanting to fund more now would be if putting down a larger down payment than what we currently have funds
Save
for
us.
is going to save us money in the long run, and that's what you need to find out.
That's what we need to find
Okay.
out.
Then I think we probably should wait, yeah.
I think on such a large purchase, it is prudent.
You're gonna be here next Tuesday anyway.
Would the fire department sacrifice the utility vehicle for a larger down payment on the truck?
That's only 15,000 though, so.
It goes from 15,000 to 75. Add that to 75,000.
So I will share, one of the worst feelings that a town manager has is on an icy morning at a vehicle accident. Seeing your $1 million ladder truck or your $850,000 fire truck. When they could have barricades and the cones and the things they need in a utility truck. So I'm very pro utility truck. I'm actually, let's buy this utility truck now. Because it could save, your truck, those are large machines operating in not so great weather. And so I would prefer to keep the utility truck in
Yeah,
there.
and then the residents out there, when they, in the middle of a windstorm, and they're chasing trees and wires, and they got a $1 million truck out there.
Yeah. And I think that they're trying to be frugal and they don't want to ask for too much, but I was really pressing Paul, like. I think the utility truck is something even now, even if you don't wait for the police vehicle, because then the police can trade that in directly to the dealer. Because you're paying now or later, and I was like, don't you want a utility truck that, you could use now? But I think they don't want to ask for too much because.
Seems like, they may have thought of this, but if they had a crew cab utility truck.
That's what we're talking
pickup
about,
So
yeah.
6 people could ride, that would responding to fires and stuff too, with
Well-
engines that can only carry 2 people. That might help.
Yeah, I don't want to even
Then you don't have your
go
air
there, you don't have your air, yeah. I don't think that would be, but
Okay.
from my standpoint, it's when I'm coming down the hill and there's the fire truck and it's icy. I always think, oh, I hope nothing happens to them. Or the guy, my first concern is for the guys, but, I'll give you a perfect example. We had a recovery we had to do, and we had to go down a very long, narrow road to the river. And a utility truck would have been perfect for that. And we did damage a piece of our equipment, going down a very narrow road. So a utility really does have a lot of, advantages. Sure. I mean, there is a piece of property here that the fire department responded to with a bridge. That when they went over it, one of the wheels went through.
Oh.
And, you know, luckily they got out. We can't respond. Like, we had to write a letter and say, until you fix that and have a structural engineer say that will support a fire truck or an ambulance, we cannot respond to your property. It is not safe for our equipment and it is not safe for our people to cross it. So we have to think about that. So a smaller utility truck, I agree with, Mr. Blodgett on that.
Peg,
Yes.
what if, where are we now with our percentage of increase?
You could actually have it in front of you.
You're yellow.
Yeah. I took the liberty of, you didn't really vote on revenue, but I did take the liberty of reducing projection based on what Daryl had done. So,
We're at 7.1.
yeah. Having done today.
$50,000.
Where would you like me to take that from?
Possibly in kind for the park.
Bring that down to 100,000?
No, do 110.
Almost. That brings you to 3.18.
3.8. Wow. Really?
I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I was taking that 2,000 credit from that, like.
It's a small town.
Thank you for telling me that.
Sold.
Eyeballs are tired. That was the percentage of, change just on expenses from last year. But it did go down to 5.49%. That's still pretty
That's a
good.
big jump.
That's a big jump.
We still got more. Well, I know, but that's what I was wondering is, if we only took 50 out of there, if we take something, we can get it down.
I might have stolen yours. That looked like an extra.
Say 5 point what?
Okay.
5.49%.
Great.
No wonder you couldn't find it.
Not trying to hamstring your park, but.
No,
The
I,
department.
No, I-
Public Works is just kind of weird sound to me when you talk about. They're planning on,
they're very talented and their Will is really anxious, you know.
and he's been part of the park recreational department to start with.
But I think he's really looking forward. This will be his first spring and summer really as the director of public works, and I think he's really looking forward to.
Give him all the exposure in there too.
While you're looking at capital, I'm comfortable with the level, the balance that's in unemployment right now. We didn't put it last year, we did have an expense last year, but if you wanted to
Take that 5,000.
take that out,
Take it out completely.
I think it would, yeah, I think it would, the town would be okay.
Okay. And. Should I make a motion for either one of them or?
You wanna just wait till,
Yeah, let's wait till we
Let's
get
get you
the
the number, yeah.
yeah,
information from the fire department. But we can take those,
We can take those now.
take those out now, if you wanna make that motion.
I would make it 110,000 on the park. And take out unemployment compensation from 1,000. Out of the capital.
You want a new total, or you want to wait?
Before I run that first.
Yeah, we'll just, hey, select board, want to second that?
Well, second.
Being seconded to reduce the communities down to 110, I'm sorry, the park down to 110,000 and take out the 5,000 from the interest. The unemployment compensation reserve fund. But in total, 15 off of that. No, but five. Five now. But we're good with that, all in favor? 4-0.
So, yeah, what John said. We have a motion.
I motion,
Go ahead.
I motion. There.
Who's playing second fiddle? There it is.
Oh, that was.
You get the next
good
one.
honey.
You can second.
Well, we're gonna be quicker.
Do we have a second officially?
Yes, I
Okay. Any discussion? Seems sensible to me. All those in favor?
Yeah.
Sorry, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, thank you. That was the number.
2 absent.
At 1,333.
What's the percentage?
Oh. I was putting in the capital to this for. 5.33.
That gives our capital 1,337,385, right?
Increase.
1,337,385.
I wasn't
And we're
clear
still gonna
on
hold
what-
off until we get
Yeah.
that fire department, if everyone agrees with that.
That's reasonable. Was that the increase was 5.33?
Yes.
Yes.
Where did we start at when we had our first meeting? What was it then? It's lower.
It's still under 10.
Yeah.
It's in your vote.
I think it's a bit of a mess. It's 9.32. It was.
We come down 1%.
You've taken 124,000. The total.
I just have faith in Will doing the job down there.
He's looking forward.
That was a good hire.
So we're doing capital? For the
Yeah.
next, for tonight?
Okay.
Okay. So next on the agenda, town manager's gonna talk briefly to the water department.
So this-
Property plot.
So the water department is not something that the budget committee really has to worry about. Can't make any decisions on it. It is handled by the select board. However, Mike Thayer, who is a member of the water department committee and a member of the select board, thought you should at least know about it. And the two areas where it affects the general budget is fire hydrants. And years ago, a portion of Peg's and my salary would have been charged off because we do some water department-y things. But we have not anticipated that revenue in a few years. But the fire hydrants are something, so. Some historical context, the town acquired the water department in 1999. It was because the previous owner was not keeping it a healthy system. Once we took ownership of it, there was a system name change. But the current operational model is that the system is owned by the town of Waldeboro, but the operations and management are contracted with Maine Water. The town remains the owner of the physical assets like the pipes, wells, the facilities, and major decisions like capital improvements require approval from the select board and town voters. Maine Water handles the day-to-day operations, meter reading, billing, water quality testing, and emergency repairs and routine maintenance. And this model the theory back then was it allowed the town to maintain control over the assets while taking advantage of the technical knowledge of and expertise of a larger utility company. We service approximately 400 customers. We have 3 active wells and a 500-gallon storage tank and 7 miles of piping. We use advanced filtration, disinfection, and the infrastructure, the treatment facility and storage tank are in excellent condition. The distribution system contains some older materials, but that's also in good condition. New meters and updated inspection of connections took place in 2024 and 2025. Fire hydrants, and this is where everybody is like, why do we have to pay if we have a water company for fire hydrants? Back in 2005, the PUC authorized a rate increase that resulted in a 24.8% rise in public fire protection rates. And it increased the revenue requirement to 30%. This adjustment raised annual hydrant rental fees from $64,212 to $80,160 for 40 hydrants. Under this order, any hydrants installed after March 1st of 2005 are governed by a chapter 69 of the PUC rules and regulations, which last year when this question was asked, I read and got thoroughly confused. But during these proceedings in 1999 and 2005, the town itself argued that the water system provides an inherent public good for all residents, and including those who are not connected to the system. And they said community services such as water to Miller School, medical facilities, essential government services, including fire truck replenishment. The economic impacts, in 1999, it was noted that the water line serviced manufacturing company on Friendship that was the strongest economic driver for the community. And public safety, the system serves as the primary public infrastructure for fire protection. So in here is a nice financial snapshot that will tell you that it wasn't doing so well back a while ago, but then in 2021 to 2025, we've done much better. There was a rate increase. The rates had not been increased for a very long time, and then the recommendation was to increase it all in 1 year. The select board was like, no, we can't do this. So they did it over 3 years, and then it's a 1.5% maximum increase every year from here on out. So there's some information for you about where they stand. Their long-term debt is decreasing. We do have a low interest loan that is all, and I should state this is a proprietary fund, enterprise fund, but this is a proprietary fund. So the users pay for it. So the tax dollars that support this are what we pay for hydrants. So the funds, it's like Ghostbusters. The beams cannot cross. I got that right this time, right?
You did. Good job.
You can't cross the streams. It's a bad thing and you don't want to have all the monsters come out. So what our issue is we can't take their fund balance. They can't take our fund balance. So those funds stay separate. They're financially independent. They're self-sustaining. So their revenue and their expenses have to stay the same. They are audited. So that is handled. It's another audited fund. But we wanted you to be aware that it exists. We have received grants to have the water booster station downtown put in. If we do not have enough grant funding for that, we will go for low interest loans through Maine Municipal Bond Bank or through the revolving fund for clean water through the Maine DEP. But again, that is not something that's going to hit the budget. It's not going to hit the taxpayers. That is purely user funded by the 400 some odd accounts that are in the water service area. So this is FYI.
Just one more question. There is debt service. And the town is on the hook for it, but it's paid out of the water account? Or is it paid out of,
So
is debt service paid out of the general fund?
By user fees.
It's paid, the debt service is paid by user fees.
Okay.
We have to include the water department's debt as part of our picture, like as part of our financial picture. And.
But it's not paid out of,
It is
this.
not.
It is not paid out of taxpayer
money.
dollars. That would be crossing the funds, and then that lets the State Puff Marshmallow Man out, and we don't like that. I'm showing my age. The only other thing I wanted to briefly mention. Sir Blodgett brought up the 4090 and the 6310 the other night for other professional services and building maintenance. So that's what you have here. I went and did a little quick spreadsheet, told you what it's all about. One of the things that I think might solve this, and I brought it up at select board last night. In 2022, we broke it all out in all the departments because that's what the budget committee then and the select board then wanted. I went back and looked and everybody voted yes to break it out, so you even agreed then.
I haven't got three then.
In 2022, you're on the select board.
no,
No, probably.
Oh, it was budget committee. then. But well, there was a Blodgett and there were two of them, so it must have been you. Well,
I'll blame him.
okay, mind your mouth. But anyway.
I've done it for years.
One of the things Peg and I came up with is not this year, because we have to go back and revote everything, but next year, we're gonna put everything back in municipal building at the end of the year. We're just gonna charge through a journal entry off all the expenditures for buildings and grounds to each department. We think it'll be much easier for all of you to understand. That way, we're not going through totaling up everything, and it'll just be easier. So if that's okay with you, that's what we're going to do. Looks good, nobody's saying no. And that's all I have.
That was trust fund overview.
No, that's Peg.
Well, all I wanted to do is have an opportunity to talk about that because I think we might ask about it.
I asked about it because I think that our next meeting is when we're having the social service, community service.
Right, that's why
And last year,
today
we
might-
funded them through
So
those.
that's why I was thinking tonight might be, just take a few minutes, to answer any questions anyone you might have about the handout. And just what happened last year was the first time that had ever happened during a budget proceeding, that we made the decision to pay some of those agencies out of the trust fund. And then a nice policy developed, the spending policy. So I didn't mean to, it was a mistake to not include it in the book in the first place. So I'm just glad to have the opportunity to pass it around. So you had it in, did you guys? I can see. And then, the other papers that you got were how that spending policy applied to all of the different sub-accounts that we have in Walpole. We had another handout too that talked about different types of trust funds that we have. We have 2 scholarship funds. A lot of the ones we have are to help disadvantaged people with, food needs or what's it, like the Philbrook Fund or helps, it's like general assistance. So, when you read the descriptions and you see that there are things that are in quotes, those were actually the words that were used back in the day. In types like very fine paper. Some long pen, but anyway, I just wanted to give you guys that information since it came up last year. And just see if you had any questions. It's been really nice to have the policy and just know what you can spend for the year out of them.
Just to refresh us,
Yeah.
what ones did we fund through?
We only, used.
We did the food pantry.
And I think we do,
New Hope for Women.
yeah,
Yes, yeah, hold on, I'll get there next.
Veggies, healthy kids, veggies to table.
Oh, so we did quite a few of them.
yeah, I think
We only used 2 lines.
but didn't we do all of them?
I'm sorry?
Didn't we do all of them?
they'll be offset part of one.
Community service, I mean, like, cause we did the veggies, I mean, we did all of the. Were they all funded through? Was it just Gilbert though? I don't know if it was.
No,
We also funded some through family fund.
We did half in the food pantry and half on the.
Thank you.
we did, yeah, had the healthy kids and New Hope. And the food pantry, yeah.
I was gonna say.
Because we didn't do all of the food pantry, but we did all of the other two.
Yes.
And what were those? I know we did 2,000 for food pantry.
Total paid out of the last year was 22,000.
Hello. That's total,
That's total.
but the food pantry was 10,000.
Right.
So New Hope and Healthy Kids was
Healthy Kids.
12,000.
Healthy Kids was 5, New Hope was 2,095.
You said there was 22,000 though, that didn't.
Right. That's what I was.
And then, food pantry was 10 and Spectrum Generations was 4,000. 4,935. This is on page 41 and 42.
Oh, that's
From the general fund.
Yeah, it's in your book. Well, I got just a more comment than question. We've got these folks coming in on, we're gonna, some are coming in on Monday, right?
This, YMCA, the Waldo
On the 17th.
on the 17th, and I think Wells.
I know we have all these great funds that we can pick and choose from, but that's, we're just voting on their request at that point in time. Where we get the money is up to us after the fact. Doesn't matter.
Right.
We don't need to be going back and forth on where we're gonna take money to pay them while they're here, do we?
No.
No, I'm just curious
Yeah.
to where we took the funds from, so we can just apply it if we want to.
If we want to.
Correct, that's what, that's,
That conversation happened
Right.
a week or two out.
Yeah, it was-
So the only people we requested was for the Y, the Waldo.
This is the third one.
the one-
Like 8:30.
Why, Waldo and, I wrote it down.
I do too. Here's the third one. Yeah.
So the food pantry. So no one, none of the other organizations have to come, correct?
Asked me to ask them now.
And no one has any requested to come?
Posted, have a request.
Sorry.
Anyone request to come, or
Any of
typically the library comes, is she, is.
Well,
Kat, anything?
yeah, Kat was wondering if
Do we meet her?
committees would
We don't
want.
need her. They're pretty easy, as far as I'm concerned.
I think
They'll
it's
come up
flat
and see.
funded again.
They'll come
Yeah,
up
the
and
request
see.
was the same.
they just got a question, Lifeline, they never put a request in.
No.
Guess they get.
Why am I not finding it in my program here?
What's that?
Because he's already.
The library.
It's bank last year.
Yeah, but I don't know where the. Oh, I have it. It's on page 48.
And I will just tell you that Mike Thayer tonight asked if I could give a little chat at our next meeting about our tax increment funding, our TIF fund. Just, again, nothing that you have anything to do with, but he wants to make sure that you all understand that it's just another part of our financial.
I would like
picture.
to understand it personally.
And Mike would like to understand it too.
Good to understand the moving parts.
Use that money to do a lot of good things.
We can use that money to get broadband to Walboro.
Yeah.
So Waldo has a petition because they didn't get their request in earlier last year, if I recall correctly, because they have to go back to a petition, so. We don't get to vote on that. That
No.
goes to the voters. We recommend whether or not we
Right.
think, okay.
But I think people wanted to have them have the opportunity
No,
to
no,
say it
that's
publicly.
Totally, no, I get that. I just wanted to make sure I understood the process.
Anyone have any other parting shots of the evening?
That's also the same for the Y petition as well.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
The Y.
Oh, is that a petition too?
I just saw the logo.
That would be on 9.
That's those.
This is social.
Oh, yeah. Now, did they put a petition out for 10 grand?
Yeah.
Self-petitioner, so that wouldn't say anything about that. anyway.
No, but I think
We
we
can
want
ask,
to give everybody a chance.
And I like it when they want to come and talk to us, like. Val, you want to, you, budget committee out there?
If that's all we're talking about, we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor?
I first and seconded.
I didn't get a good vote.
He's all
count here.
skilled up.
I'm pretty sure it would be nice. But everybody.
Any opposed?